With another win under Jacob Reed and Andres Valenteus' book, the championship picture is starting to take shape, with both drivers propelling themselves further into the lead of their respective classes. Who will master the challenging confines of Hockenheim today, and can anyone put a stop to the dominance of Reed and Valenteus? We'll find out soon as we get ready to watch round 4 of the iRacing IMSA Vintage series, and you'll see it all live here on the Global SimRacing Channel. Hi, I'm Adam Lindgren, and returning to the booth is Craig King. Our director is Christian Deploy, and he's using cameras provided by Dougie Beard. Hockenheimring is one of the newer tracks on iRacing, and also one of the most challenging to master. To find out why, let's take you down to our GSRC track guide.
Welcome to Hockenheim. Located just an hour away from the border of France, this is a German track whose nature has changed drastically over its history. Once an eye-watering blast through long straights in the forest, it has since been truncated to its current format. With 6 different layouts ranging between 2.5 and 4.5 kilometers containing 13 to 16 turns, depending on which you choose, it's got something for just about every level of racing. This means it would fit everything from club cars up to Formula One. And that's perhaps what it's most well known for. One of the regular hosts for the German Grand Prix, it has been the scene of multiple dramatic moments, some triumphant, some tragic. Its redesign in the early 2000s gave it a few well-placed overtaking spots. The Parabolica entrance can create a good sneak attack, but even if you don't get it done there, the huge run towards the tight and slow Spitz curve is the place most well known for overtakes. If neither of those work, on rare occasions, Mercedes Corner can see drivers manage to pass one another. While the straights certainly aren't as long as the old version, it still requires a good deal of top speed to be competitive. But driver beware. Throttle control can often make or break your lap on the latter half of the circuit. All in all, German race fans can be assured to find great action no matter your tastes in racing at this fantastic venue.
Craig, it's been an interesting season so far, to say the least, and here we are at Hockenheim, a very challenging place for multiclass, even though it's a wide track. Talk to us about how the IMSA Vintage cars are going to be around here today.
Yeah, Adam, well, back in the 80s, these cars would have run the old layout through the forest. Nowadays, though, we've got this iconic 2.84-mile track that, as you said, provides a challenge to the drivers. Most of the action will be taking place at the hairpin, one of the tightest corners on the servers, and it throws up problems for both classes. For the GTP, they will struggle with the low-speed corner in there. For the GTOs, they will be struggling with the understeer. And on that topic of understeer, that's the name of the game for the GTOs. Look out for those drivers to make some adjustments in their steering around Sachs and Mercedes, just for an example. For the GTPs, though, they want to avoid going slow, as you've heard me talk about, so those high-speed corners at turn 7, Nord Curve, Mercedes, you've got Sachs at turn 12, and you've got the Sud curve at the end of the lap. They will look to make time up using the high speed there. Multi-class, as you said, it is a bit of a challenge. It's a wide track. You've got this banana-like straight to make an overtake. There are opportunities to make overtake, but when you get into those stadium sections that, again, weren't here back in the 80s, these GTPs will struggle. They are narrow. You cannot make a lot of time up there today, Adam. So once again, it'll all come down to who is better on the braking when it comes to the straights.
Absolutely, and who's been best in the championship has been very easy to tell. It's been Jacob Reed up in the lead of the championship over Jack Wells by a decent amount of points after the win last week. Antti Lepisto is down there 31 points back in a distant third, battling with Farron Grau for that third and fourth positions. Seamus Powers in tight with Logan Edwards and Ilya Codisalo as well. And he's tied with Diego Mistretta for that 7th position. And only 1 point back is Arno Iamaki. Timothy Reed rounds out the top 10 in the GTPs. But what about the GTOs, Craig?
Well, in the GTOs, it's the same story, really. It's one man in control, and it's Valenteus, and you can just see free from free with Johan van Hixie right behind him. Again, he is a third, and a second. Andreas Schuster still bringing it up. Those three have just been the dominant names in the series so far, early doors. You see Doug Cloud still battling. Just look how close it is. It feels like I say this every time, Adam, but it is true. You've got the cars at the top of the championship that are really battling it out. The rest of the field are having this fantastic battle between one another just to get the rest of the field.
Yeah, absolutely, and it's very interesting to see. We haven't seen dominance like this in both classes for quite a while, so it's a little bit strange to see, but that is going to take us to our race details today. We're round 4 of 12 here, 40 minutes for these drivers today, so no pit stops. Open setups for their cars, so they can set it however they like or dislike. They have no spare car out there, so if you hit the wall, you're done for the day. Drive-through penalty at 17 incidents and disqualification at 25. I'm always surprised at how many incident points people can rack up around this track, so wouldn't be surprised to see someone get a drive-through today. Craig, it's a single split out there today as we head down to qualifying. So 52 drivers, it's a lot of cars on track.
A lot of cars on track, and thankfully we've got the wide track here. Just look at it. It's nice to see out there today. Wide track does help them in that sense, but again, it's going to be very tight around the corners. We had the third biggest strength of field for both classes last week. We're not going to have anything like that today, but we are going to have the man that everyone wants to beat. Not the number 1 car, which is really weird when you think about his pedigree in championship racing. But Jacob Reed, the number 2 car, 7,773 iRating. He's just coming around to start what will be his first lap out. And this is the corner, this is the straight that is going to be very interesting today. He's through the parabolica, hard braking for the hairpin at turn 6. And just look how tight it is, Adam. There is a bit of runoff there, but if you go too far over, you will have to serve a slowdown.
You will have to serve a slowdown. And, you know, it's interesting that you mentioned he's not number 1. It comes as no surprise who is number 1 in this race. It's Andres Valenteus in the GTO. So it's really surprising to see all these drivers out here. It's just amazing to see the caliber of driver out here. We have such a wide spread of iRatings here, from 6,000 all the way down to, I believe, 600, if I'm not mistaken, Craig.
Yeah, it's quite a wide range. And of course, this is just the nature of the series. And if you want to drive in the series, just come and give it a go. The community always so open, as with every not endurance league, historic season. Everyone does love it as the first few laps come around. Interesting that Jacob Reed, well, he does take that pole position, doesn't he? He's got that straight away. But look who it is right there behind him. It is Manuel Vereda Perez. That's a time that may surprise a few people. Jack Wells, usually up there fighting, but could not get it done.
Yeah, absolutely. Manuel Perez only down by about a tenth and a half, as our first times for the GTO start coming in, with Andreas Schuster currently on provisional pole, immediately pipped by Mickey Friesen by 0.02 of a second. There is Schuster coming through, and the real challenge for these drivers to make it through these sectors cleanly, especially in the GTOs. The back half of the track tends to be a little bit challenging when it comes to their natural oversteer when it comes to this all-wheel drive machine. Andreas Schuster trying to set that second time and possibly get better of Mickey Friesen.
Yeah, and that's what they're doing. This is Josh Brain. A really nice indicator. Just look at it. They have to really get slow when it comes to the hairpin there, and you just see you scrub so much time off him. We talk about these cars, they're not cars you can late break. That's a good thing, because if you know what the hairpin is like on other races, and this isn't me knocking anybody, this is just in general for most sim racing, the hairpin can be a very chaotic moment. So if you see someone make a mistake and outbrake themselves in a GTO, I think a lot of drivers will be aware of it. Josh Brain taking such an inside line. You can cut that inside and go wide like that, but it is so tough. As Noah Lundberg now goes pole in the GTOs. The GTPs continue there, but again, look at this tightness you were talking about, Adam.
Absolutely, Josh Brain. You can see as he's fighting the wheel, the car is not turning, and so you have to rotate it on the gas and on the brakes. It's a real challenge for Josh Brain coming off the final corner. Very smooth there. He's going to cross the line and try and improve his time. Doesn't quite, actually he does do so, moves himself up into 6th position.
Yeah, Farron Grau now looking to He's looking to try and make amends after last week and really trying to do his best. And we go from the slow cars through this section in the arena to the fast cars, and they have the room. But what you don't see here is here you see that camera. There's a little bit of elevation change there. You might have gone a bit too wide there hitting the sausage curve. A little bit of elevation change, a bit of cambering there can throw you off if you're in a car like this. In fact, he knows he had an off track. He abandons it. That's something we don't talk a lot about when it comes to it comes to any sort of racing around here. But that through Sachs all the way from down 12, 13, 14, and 15, all that camber, Adam, can throw a lot of people off.
2 minutes left in qualifying, and we've got about 5 GTOs who have yet to set a time. Well, actually, I have 3 GTOs who have yet to set a time, 5 who still have opportunities to do so. We have 4 GTPs who have not set their times. Brendan Lim is not going to be completing qualifying, but Lepisto, Rodriguez, and Diaz all have opportunities to set times. Here is Andres Valenteus, currently only qualifying in the 9th position, but he's on his second lap, and we all know his second lap is faster.
I was going to say, when you think Valenteus, and this is not a knock at some of these drivers, if you say that Valenteus is 2 tenths slower than Doug Cloud, that's kind of an indication. So I heard that Adam. Yeah, it is a little bit of a, well, something's not right here. What's he doing? And Valenteus, again, locking up. He kisses the inside of the hairpin there, trying to look for whatever move he can. All the GTPs look like they're finished, so you're not going to see any changes on that timing tower. But this is the lap everyone's looking at, because he has to find 7 tenths to get past Andreas Schuster. In fact, I wouldn't be surprised if he only qualifies 4th here.
So Andres Valenteus, one of the last drivers. In fact, the second to last driver on track who's trying to set a time, at least in the GTOs. So this is going to be interesting to see whether or not he can set a decent time. Might have gone too far off track there, we'll see. But he's really struggling to get the car pointed for the corners right now. Valenteus coming out of this section is going to try and take this next right-hander. Such a challenge in the GTOs. You can't go all the way to the curb on exit there. And he gets out to the sausage curb, puts his wheel on that, and then he's going to try and power out very wide, very tight for that car. So is Valenteus going to improve his time? Yes, it's a 36.8, and that is good enough for pole.
All right, Valenteus, you heard me. I'll eat my words. That's one hell of a lap as we get ready to do get gridding. Did not see that coming.
I didn't see it coming either. Such a challenge for these drivers to get through that section. You could see just how tight that GTO was. But that takes us to our grid for the race today. It's going to start off with Jacob Reed on pole position. Manuel Verdeja Perez is going to be next to him on row 1. In row 2 is Cal Young and Dustin Heroder tucked in behind Reed and Perez. We've got Jack Wells in 5th position next to Togo Hisada in 6th. Row 4 is Seamus Power and Farron Grau, with Heinrich Schweivig and Gabri Martinez rounding out the top 10. Then it's Antti Lepisto in 11th position with Carlos Peralta next to him. We've got Hamilton Barrera Ruiz in 13th with Esteban Monteros in 14th position. AJ Roper on row 8 in 15th with Raul Guardia next to him. Row 9 is Davide Ricciardi, and then we got Javier Mascara down in 18th position. Top 20 rounded out by Diego Mastretta and Guillermo Martin Gonzalez Diaz. Then we've got Ilka Codesalo in the 21st position, with Logan Edwards next to him on row 11, Mateo Johnson and Luis Soto Rivera on row 12, Darren Canfield and Biel Rodriguez, the last of your qualifiers. Then Brendan Lim and Andre Felipe Diaz did not set qualifying times, rounding out your 28 GTPs today.
I'll give you a bit of a breather and do the GTOs for you, Adam. I think you do need it because there's 24 here today. Valenteus will be on pole position with Andreas Schuster beside him in P2. There's Noah Lundberg and Mickey Friesen 3rd and 4th, with Johan Van Hicks 5th and Javier Del Olmo in 6th. Doug Cloud just misses out on that row 15. He gets 7th, and Idove Trengarade will be row 8 with Josh Brain in 9th, and Theo Chalet will be 10th. And that will lead us to the second page with Christoph Elesniak in 11th. Roman Bello will be 12th, Fabian Youngblood 13th, and Timothy Reed 14th. Martin Krajcik will be 15th, with Ian Haycox in 16th. And then Emilio Dicciari 17th. Brandon White will be 18th. Forban Pollock will take 19th, with Mika Tupula in 20th. We do have 4 more drivers. Every driver setting a time today, with Martin Enrique Revert in 21st, Oleg Stelenko 22nd, Mortz von Schweitwitz in 23rd, and Roman Liebert will be in 24th. Apologies for that butchering of the name there, but 24 GTOs, 28 GTPs.
My goodness, what a varied and diverse field we have here today for the IMSA Vintage Series. Awesome to see new drivers in the field, drivers from all nationalities, all parts of the globe. That's one of the best things about iRacing. Everyone can take part from anywhere and race at the same time, and we're seeing that here today in IMSA Vintage. These cars, this track, it's a recipe for some excitement today, Craig.
Recipe for some excitement, recipe for a little bit of chaos today. It's going to be interesting, and I do like the fact that when this track first came out, the formation lap wasn't this far back. The formation lap would start where the GTOs are right now, just before Mobile 1, and you wouldn't have a lot of time to get rolling. So now they start before that, before Mercedes. They have this time to get rolling. Do not be surprised. Valenteas hasn't left much of a gap, but he doesn't want to get caught out by going side by side in some of the trickier sections here. He might start to yield off.
Yeah, usually the GTOs are 3 seconds back of the GTPs, but right now, Valenteas is only 2 seconds back of Darren Canfield. With the large field we have today, that might come into play. Reed coming off of the final corner next to Perez. Is Reed going to get the jump? He usually does. No, he does not. Perez gets a great start and is going to be side by side. The whole GTP field 3, 4, 5 wide as they head towards the sweeping turn 1. Perez tries to hang it on the outside, can't quite stay with him. It's going to be Reed and Perez leading, with Heroder and Young battling side by side for third.
Valenteas got a good jump, and Andreas Schuster almost lost P2 in the GTPs, I beg your pardon. We keep looking at the GTPs going around. There's the GTOs in the top corner. It's all single file for those drivers, with Chari making up for Jumblov. Had a moment. He has not taken the grid. Not sure what has happened there with the GTOs. Mickey Friesen now, he's in the train. Got to get back to the lead, though, because Perez, this is real surprise to see him take this lead so early.
Fairly conservative through the hairpin for most of the GTPs, though there's a bottle up in the back of the field. But yeah, Perez has gotten the lead from Jacob Reed. Oh no, the 7 spinning across the track. That's going to put him back quite a bit in the field. Unfortunately for Perez, that's going to put his championship, his goal of trying to win the race, a little bit in the mud.
Yeah, did he do that on his own? Yeah, he just took too much speed. Took way too much speed, and now he's in a battle. He's got Lepisto in that black number 3 right beside him. He's going to have to fight this. Well, if he's got the pace, he might be able to do it, but that's at the time to just keep cool, calm, and collected. The driver, the Iberian, trying to make some moves. He's going to have to try and make a lot of moves right now. Jacob Reed, if he gets that lead, he will not lose it, and that's going to be the problem. I can report Emilio Dicciari has had a moment out there as well.
The GTOs is the same story as last week. Valenteas and Schuster nose to tail as they start their, are about to head into their second lap of the race. The GTP's just starting their second lap. This is such a tight front stretch after turn 1. It can be a real challenge coming down to this right-hander to try and get any move done. And then you have this little S before the straightaway. And it's really hard to navigate if you're side by side with another driver. Taking a look at the replay, there he is. Perez just taking a little bit too much of the turn. I think he was possibly braking while turning there, and just the rear end caught him out.
That's what it looked like to me, and I wonder if that's a lot of it is just the pressure on the first lap with what Jacob was doing. I mean, Jacob wasn't doing anything, but you know, he had to try and do something to just throw him off, and maybe just a little bit too much mirror watching, missing that braking point may have been the issue. So the GTOs are in a little bit of a train, the GTPs in a little bit of a train at the moment, as you see. That is Brendan Lim, I believe. Yeah, he's had a moment, and just having a moment, just touching almost the back of Javier Del Olmo and Doug Cloud. Those two will keep it single file, because there's not really an opportunity to make a move here at turn 7. You've got to set yourself up to make it into Mercedes at 8. It is very tough, but meanwhile, Noah Lundberg has lost a bit of time. Yeah, Noah Lundberg goes backwards, and this was a misshift for him coming through Mercedes, so I think that was the problem for him, unfortunately. So he's lost some time, lost positions to Van Hixie and Friesen, so he's now back to 5th position for Lundberg as we take a look at him trying to stay ahead now of the charging Del Olmo, Doug Cloud, Nove Tranqueray. Yeah, and he wants to try and keep up with Van Hicks and Friesen and Schuster because of the fact of this long straight. We know how the GTOs, how the front GTO field, they like to play it together. They like to just be all grouped up together. Stay together this early, as we see on board with Mickey Friesen, and hopefully you hold that position, hold that ability to just keep on, because if you're not together here, you've got to be in it to win it, and you've got to be in that train for those drivers. Already Van Hicks already fastest lap by 2/10 to the leader, Valenteus.
Yep, so Friesen just trying to hang on to the back there of Valenteus. Oh, we've had some contact. Yeah, we just saw it on screen. Seamus Power getting ushered wide by Henrik Schweibig. So Henrik Schweibig just sending it deep through Mercedes to try and make that move. And unfortunately for Seamus Power, a little bit of contact there for his troubles.
A little bit of contact. Look at them kicking up the dust as well in the background, just kicking it up there, hit in to the exit of turn 7. And now you just see, just look at them weaving around. What can Henning do here to just get that dirty air on Seamus? Seamus really had a good race last time by. He's not a track that he enjoys, but you know he's going to do what he can. He's going to have to play the percentage game. Do not be surprised if next lap these drivers hit traffic. The nature of a over 50 car grid, Adam, that is going to mean early traffic and non-stop traffic.
Yeah, it's going to take them a little bit to get there. They've still got about, like you said, about half a lap to go until they hit that traffic. Take a look at Toga Asada making a nice run here on Dustin Hiroto. As we take a look at Doug Cloud, who's side-by-side with Javier Del Olmo for 5th.
Side-by-side, almost turned in. He thought he could turn in a bit too early there, and he lost out. And he's lost out to Ove Trengaray, the opportunist. Manages to get the position. And a misshift from Ove Trengaray there allows Doug to get that position back, and Ove losing another. Side by side in front, you're seeing the GTP. There's Seamus Power trying to get that back on Henning Sweep, and I believe he got it. He's a little bit slow out as 8. Gonna go side by side to 9. They do touch. They hold on. Watch out for Peralta trying to make a move. We're almost 4 wide. In fact, we almost went 3 wide. But Power still around the outside. They're still bumping and turning. It's tough there. A big one behind. Similar situation by all 4 drivers.
That was Raul Roches Guardia, Antti Lepisto, and Carlos Peralta, who all got together after Peralta went too deep into the right-hander before this hairpin. And unfortunately for them, that's going to send them out of the race. Seamus Power, though, able to hang on to that position up ahead of Perez. So, my goodness, some drama for the GTPs. In the GTOs, it's still side by side between Del Olmo and Doug Cloud for the 6th position as they continue to make contact coming out of the final couple of corners. Doug Cloud in full defense mode as we've seen him before.
In full defense mode, Peralta apologizes for that move. This is Del Olmo. He's going to try and make a move into Mobile 1 curve. That's very risky. And you can see that Doug closed the door and they're bumping. They are bumping and still riding. And that is a defense from Doug. I don't know if there was a move on there, but Javier is going to try it. He's a former champion. He knows his way around this car, and he'll continue to look for this. Nowhere for him to go. Late braking in to 15. Can't make it stick. Again, you can't late brake these cars, boys. You're going to have to be careful. You can see, though, 3 seconds away from Noah Lundberg. Del Olmo really doesn't want to be caught up here.
You just saw the incident with Peralta just getting wide, coming through that right-hander into the gravel, shoots himself across and makes contact with Guardia, and then Lepisto comes in unsighted into the dust and hits the 3 of them. So unfortunately for them, that's going to be the end of most of their races as we take a look at Mickey Friesen, currently in the 3rd position, but challenging Schuster for 2nd.
Yeah, challenging them as well. And you see a few drivers here. We're getting ready for the multi-class aspect now. We were right. The 3 back markers in this GTPO field just getting caught up there. Now, is Young going to get past Delenko? He does. Late braking, though. Thankfully, with the nature of how turn 2 works, Adam, he has that space to make that send. He's able to make that send. It does compromise him a little bit. I do see Toga Hasada, though, on the timing tower, has gone around. He's facing the wrong way, and he's got damage at turn 2.
Yeah, that was contact with Romain Leboyer, so unfortunately for him, he's going to have to try and recover. But Toga Hasada recovering now into the 17th position. Rough for him. Take a look at this. 5th on back, Jack Wells, Gabby Martinez, and Leboyer has gone around again, unfortunately, in the hairpin. You can see him just crawling out of the apex now in the background. But look at this battle. Jack trying to hang on in front of Gabri Martinez.
trying to go in. I believe, yeah, Dalenko just says, I'm getting out of here. Because of that, it allows Ferran Grau to have a mistake. And now this 2-car battle's turned into a 3-car battle. And that's what you want to see. And of course, we're wondering where is the rest of the drivers. They're just up ahead. They're about to hit the rest of it. Here's this replay once again. Here comes Togo. This is an acceptable overtaking move, I do feel. And it is one of those that you have to be aware of the situation when it comes to multi-class traffic. That is a move a GTP, a prototype, will always make. That, I have to say, is on the GTO for turning in.
I think it's actually 50-50. I think it's right on the edge of whether that's acceptable. Looks like Gabriel Martinez has had a problem as we ride on board with Cal Young trying to make a pass for the lead on Jacob Reed. They've got Fabian Jungbluth up ahead of them. Jungbluth has raced the GTPs a lot, so he's not going to deviate his line. Reed able to hang on to it as Cal Young caught a little bit too much of that inside curbing and couldn't get the power down on exit, but now Young with a good draft. He has an opportunity to send it here towards the apex. He's going to back off and think better of it and fight another day.
No, he's not going to think another day. He's going to try and go for the over-under. He sees Ian Haycock's ahead. He might look for a move. He cannot make it. You see the leaders, well, the main part of the leaders here, Mickey Friesen, Van Hicks, and Lundberg in the picture. And shortly, the drivers will be coming up to them. It's a blown engine for Jacob Reed! It's a blown engine!
A huge championship implication for Jacob Reed as he blows his engine on the downshift from 4th to 3rd. He must have short shifted it all the way into 1st.
Now, did he do that because he saw Ian Haycox and he was past Ian Haycox?
He was past Haycox. This was all on him.
That's absolutely wrong gear. He went the wrong gear. Absolute money shift. And that is huge. And you've got to feel, if you're Togo Hosada and you've made the mistake, that's got to feel rough right now. And this is opening it up completely. I'm going to have to look at him. We could be looking at a first-time winner. I'm going to have to check the stats.
Oh, look at this. Perez has gone around again. Looks like he's made contact with Seamus Power. So those two getting together. My goodness, lots of chaos going on right now as we get through into this multi-class section. Gabriel Martinez and Schwebig trying to battle it with each other as they head towards turn 2. They're going to get bottled up here behind some of the GTOs on the exit towards the straightaway. Here is Roper trying to make some moves right now on Seamus Power, who's trying to recover now.
Seamus Power's got a lot of damage. He got caught up behind Fabian Jungbluth, who was not aware of the speed difference between the cars, and he hasn't got the aero speed. That's why Seamus Power got caught in that little accident there, and he's got massive damage on the side. He cannot fight on this straight on a track that's got a lot of speed. You kind of need that speed. That could be Power's race done in terms of a fight. Togo Hosada, though, all of a sudden, a mistake there, but you've got to feel he has a chance. He's 17 seconds behind the leaders. He's got a chance to really make a run for a podium here.
Absolutely, and he's going to try and make some moves here on Ricciardi, who leaves the space on the outside. Togo Hosada didn't trust it, really, so he gave even more room. Looks like Schwebig and Martinez are still battling side by side up ahead as we ride on board with Hosada, our second place driver in the points, after Jacob Reed blows his engine from the lead, our leader in the championship. But Hosada had problems early and is marred back down in 14th with all the multi-class traffic.
And he's trying to catch up. You see Ricciardi right in front. He has to go by. He has to go around the outside of the but that's going to be a slowdown. I think that might be a slowdown for Hosada. No, he gets away with it. He gets away with it. That allows him to just move on. And this is really good because he's got the better multi-class with Ricciardi on board. You see Gabby Martinez was still looking at the other battles going on. He's battling Henning Sweeb as well as Hamilton Barrera.
Oh, I think we're going to have a move for second in the GTOs, possibly Mickey Friesen with an opportunity on Schuster into the hairpin, but he backs out of it. Interestingly enough, I thought he was going to set up the inside on Schuster. Thinks better of it this time.
Yeah, I wasn't expecting to see that so far. Remember, you can't really send it on on these GTOs. It's really tough out there for these drivers. Look at the traffic jam coming out the hairpin, though, with Gabby Martinez just looking on. It really feels bad, and he has to slice and dice. And then you're just seeing that in the top. Real good work here from both camera crews. It's so tough out there to make moves just to try and find a move. But when you've got 50 cars out there, Adam, I know we've lost 6 cars or 5 cars, I think, to retirement, but we've still got 50 cars almost.
Absolutely, 50 cars out there. As we look at Seamus Power, look at them streaking, trying to get past the GTOs as quickly as possible, nearly making contact there. And it's just an absolute fake out game. You got to make some bets on where you think the GTOs are going to be. You're trying to scare them a little bit into moving into different lines that are going to give you an opportunity, like we saw there with Perez and Power. And we've had a spun Martinez on the exit of the final corner. Everyone's trying to dodge. Look at the chaos as they go out of the straight.
Dodge, dip, dive, dodge. It's the 4 Ds, and they've all made it. Mistake from Seamus Power. As we were watching Seamus Power, he doesn't have the speed. This is a tight section for the track. Are we going to see Perez look for the move? Perez, look, he does a little tap, and Power goes wide. And all of a sudden, everyone's now starting to get punched up here. Now you'll see Montoro. He's got the move. He doesn't have the aero. He's going to be losing out. Behind him, we almost saw Del Olmo, Trengrade, and Shirley make some moves. So it is all happening out there at the moment on the first pass. We're not even through the first pass yet.
No. And we got even more chaos under braking. Tons of contact between Cardi and Mascara as they make contact. Mascara and Johnson make some contact as well. We have a spin from Olenek and Josh Brain in the background. Everyone just trying to make it through here. There's some moves going almost 4 wide, 3 wide as they go into the corner. That's going to be Togo Hisada, who's trying to navigate through these GTOs, is able to get through, but that was a very just thing.
I mean, everyone just hold on. Hold your fire. It is so tough out there at the moment. There's one driver that's gone off on, I see it's Matteo Johnson has gone off later on in the lap. Drivers are trying to find spaces that do not exist at the moment. They know that they cannot be held up too much. If you look at that timing tower, if we go live on Javier Del Olmo, that is true. That is Cal Young 4 seconds ahead of Dustin Hirota and 12 seconds ahead of everyone else. And it's the same situation outside the top 5 in the GTO. These gaps are huge, and a lot of it has been due to the traffic today.
Take a look at Esteban Monteros as he's trying to navigate through some of the GTOs. He finally gets through, and now they're relatively free and clear, except for the leading Valenteus. But Cal Young has been able to open that gap to Hirota due to pure traffic alone. Hirota was 1.5 seconds behind Young before they hit the traffic, and now he's lost 3 seconds.
I tell you what, where do you look? And I gotta feel sorry for Christian in the director's shed today. Where does he look? There's something happening all the time, and we could see a free wide down for the hairpin. We're gonna see a free wide down at the hairpin. Oh, they trained the rain. Gonna try and take 2. He takes 1. He tried to take the second. A bit of understeer of a bumper to grind. He does get Theo Chalet, and he's gonna hold it. They're going to go side by side down into turn 7, and maybe with the inside he gets it. No, outside line is faster for Theo. He's going to hold this. Brendan Lim will come on by. Matteo Johnson will come on by. Real good driving there. The bumping, they're not going to line. No! Oh my word! That is a mistake for Brendan Lim. He just lost control.
Brendan Lim lost control, takes out Theo Chalet as we're watching on the upper right-hand corner as Togo Hisada gets his way past Seamus Power up to 10th. Top 10 for Togo as we continue to watch these battles occur on track. Especially here's Krzysztof Olesniak trying to make some moves in the middle of this pack. He's tucked in behind Trengrade Del Olmo, and he's got Josh Brain for companies that he's brought with him as well.
Yeah, this is a little bit of a group here. You've got 5 cars all stuck together, and now they just want to work together now. I think they've just seen the chaos. The chaos is almost over, so let's just get back to driving. We're so far behind everybody else. Can we work together to catch up to people? Maybe. You know that if you've got the likes of Trengarade and Del Olmo at the front, you've got a chance to pull ahead. Behind them is Krzysztof Olesniak, a former Ford GT2 champion in the Proto GT series. So you just know you've got the pedigree here to just go, hey, let's work together and just keep pulling ahead because we need to catch up to the likes of Doug Cloud and Noel Lumber.
I wish I could show you all the track map. There is a gap between turns 2 and 3 that is empty, and the rest of the track is just full. Here is what happened with Brendan Lim. First, he takes the corner very deep, and then he's going to come back across and clip the curbing and absolutely pile drive Theo Chalet.
I wouldn't even say pile. That there's a blind side and there's a blind side. And that would have thrown anybody off because he doesn't even know the driver's gone off wide. That is just how bad it is. And Theo will be feeling that in his DD wheel or any wheel he's driving. He will definitely be feeling it. We keep watching Lesniak here. I'm trying to crunch the numbers here, Adam, and I'm looking at the top 4. I don't think the top 5 have won a GTP race on a broadcast.
Cal Young, Dustin Hirota, Farron Grau, Jack Wells and Henning Schwebig is who we're talking about. I do believe that Farron Grau has won a broadcast race, but I have to check the stat sheets.
I do apologize. It's 2. Yes, 2 for Farron.
Awesome. Okay. I wasn't remembering incorrectly. We do have in third position Mickey Friesen starting to gain on Andreas Schuster again as we take a look at Esteban Monteros on his what has become a recovery drive.
It's a recovery drive for Esteban, but he's +4 for the day. So he's doing really good out there today. I'll tell you who's doing a really good recovery drive. It's not just Togo Hosada, who's in front, but the man in front of them is Manuel Perez. But we've got to go back to what's happening in the GTOs because Schuster getting a little bit bullied here. Friesen have to go on the defense. Now, I have to laugh here, Mickey. I think you changed your camera angle. I think he got a little bit wound up by Ove and myself saying he's really going wide to go for his gear stick. He's not. It was a trick of the angles, and he's just proving it right now that everything's okay. Not everything is okay right now for this lot.
Absolutely. Olenicek took it very deep, 3 wide into the hairpin as they go through the left-hander into Mercedes onto the braking. It's going to be Olenicek who's going to take the position over Del Olmo. Trangrade and Olenicek have made it through this pack, and they're not going to try and reach up forward, but a bad exit for Olenicek is going to mean that Trangrade's going to come, or Del Olmo rather, is going to come alongside, is going to take that position again, but Del Olmo takes it too deep into the corner and goes off into the gravel. That allows Josh Brain to streak by. These people can't keep it on track today.
No, they can't keep it on track. And I thought that Christoph was actually going a little bit wide and losing control, entering Mobile 1 there, but he actually was able to hold it there and kept the speed. And now these guys are fighting. Fighting's fine. But again, you've lost a second to Ove Trangarade. And I thought the name of the game was to work together here. And all of a sudden, they've just complacent with this 7th place they're battling for. And if they keep fighting, they're going to be battling for just 8th place here. Josh Brain is in a really nice position, though, out there to look for another move. And as I keep looking on that track map, one spot on the whole track that's free is between turn 6, the hairpin, and turn 7. And the GTP leaders are about to go through traffic again.
And Friesen trying to make the move on Schuster. He's waited long enough to do this. He's going to take that inside line, and the all-wheel drive is going to help him get off the corner. A little bit of a better exit for Schuster, but Friesen better through the gears, but he's not got the opportunity. But look at this. Schuster takes it a little bit too deep. This allows an opportunity for Friesen to sweep around the outside. We've seen this move done many times before. Friesen tries to hang it on the outside, but can't quite get the grip down. That's going to allow Schuster to stay ahead for the time being.
Yeah, Mercedes at turn 8, it is such a sharp corner. You've got to be careful. Side by side there, very tricky. I think you need some downforce. These cars don't really have downforce there. They're kind of built for rallying. In fact, you just put some massive wheels on them and you see them in the Dakar Classic like they are right now. But here, they are racing hard on road, and Schuster continues to just hold this. You would have thought they had a chance to beat Valenteus. Valenteus is 5 seconds up the road, and if he's still trying to get by, is that going to be an issue? Because he's just split the top 2 drivers here, and all of a sudden Friesen is having to look behind.
So Friesen now on the defensive from Van Hixie. As we take a look at AJ Roper, who's going to try and make a move on Perez. These two nose to tail as they go through the corners. So continue to take a look from the back of Schuster on to Friesen and Van Hixie as they're getting separated once again by GTP traffic. This is the name of the game in IMSA Vintage as Monteros goes around again.
Yeah, it was looking bad for Monteros. It's gone wrong for him, and it looks like he just had a mistake. Now, who did he catch? He caught a back marker trying to come out of turn 10. Schuster is having a look at what's behind him, and what's behind him is just 2 cars still looking for position. Friesen trying to hold off Van Hicks. He does do it because, again, it's so tough to make a move here. You've got to wonder to yourself, and you're the GTO master here, Adam. I'm going to throw the floor to you. Where would you look for an overtake if you're in these GTOs right now?
On this track, it's really hard to overtake. I found it extremely challenging. But the place that I did it most effectively was actually into Mercedes. If you can make an inside lunge into Mercedes and force the driver to stay out wide, that's where I found the most success for passes around this track. But that was really it, to be honest with you.
I feel that's like my bread and butter. You get the switchback and you look for a good move there. You get a switchback out of turn 7, you can try it. You know, if AJ Roper gets a good run here out of 7 on Perez, you could look for that move. But look how Perez has to put the car due to the way the car just washes out there. So you have to really be committed there to make that move. And then this car, it's a little bit dicey.
Sorry, Trangarade has just had an issue. He got clipped a little bit by Darren Canfield, and that has slowed him down. And Andreas Schuster's gone around.
Schuster's gone around. We're going to look at what happened to Motoras. And Schuster's gone around with a back marker. Not sure. This is Motoras just going, it's just a bit too much there. But Schuster out at turn 1. What has happened here? Do you know what? It was a back marker. A back marker has caught him off there. And Schuster's gone all the way down to 6th.
The back marker was slow. And so... Oh, we got to take a look at second position of the GTOs. Mickey Friesen making a dive up the inside of Joran Van Hicks. They've got a back marker on the left-hand side. That's not someone who's going to play into this battle, but Van Hicks making a nice move there as Noel Lundberg gets pinched in the background between Le Boyer and Heroder. And Javier Mascara's had an issue in the GTPs. He's gone around as Friesen makes the move up the inside. Now it's trying over-under from Van Hicks, but he's going to go from the inside to the outside. A little bit of contact there. It's going to push Van Hicks out wide, but they're still side by side as they head down to the right-hander.
Here they go to Mobile 1. You'll see in the replay up ahead with what happened to Schuster, but they're still here. The side-by-side's over, but it's a bit of a bad line there for Friesen. Van Hicks is going to try and take this again. And around the outside of Sachs is very tough. It cambered. He's held it side-by-side. They're still side-by-side as they hit 13 and 14. Really good. Bumping. Friesen has to hold it. He's going to drift it. He stops it. He has lost a bit of time, though, and he'll go down to 5th position. But that's a good save for Mickey Friesen.
A good save for Mickey Friesen as Doug Cloud gets by him, and Friesen's going to be kicking himself to see Doug ahead. You know how good Doug is at defense. But look at this chaos going on in the background with Olejniak and Bello, and they've got a whole bunch of cars bottled up behind them.
A lot of them behind. They're just going to wait for a moment. This is the Autobahn, and I believe that's Olesniak going around the outside of Roman Bello into the Sud curve. Fantastic. He can't turn in. He's got every GTP just taking the door away from him. Only Togo Husada waits, and everybody comes by. He just holds it. Traffic has caused a little bit of chaos because in front of these guys, it's now a free almost 4-car battle between Manuel Perez, AJ Roper, Toga Hitsada, and I believe Henning Swede may get caught out by it.
Look at this chaos as they go down. That's AJ Roper trying to make a move on the inside of Perez on the brakes into the hairpin. Such a challenging place to make a pass. Contact is going to send Roper a little bit wide, and Perez gets the better traction. Roper's not going to be happy about that one as Javier Mascara has gone around a little bit. Seamus Powell in the background. Oh, my goodness. No, and Perez will go around again. Remember, he went a bit too hard earlier in the race in that corner, and I don't know. I just don't know what just happened there. He made contact with a slow GTO who was at the apex.
But I know, but he could see the car was slowed, Adam.
Maybe he was looking in his mirror.
Yeah, sorry. It's a very weird one, but that's another driver gone. And again, multi-class issues out there today.
Well, that's all the better for Togo Hisada, who we're looking at. He's just gained a position by road. They've got AJ Roper up ahead of them. Carlos Peralta moves over to the side to let these guys go by. Togo Hisada has an opportunity to make it up into the top 5 at least. We got 13 and a half minutes to go. Usually, I think these races go by quickly. This one feels like it's dragging on. So much attrition, so much risk being taken by these drivers today.
So much out there today. It is so tough to see what you can do, what you have to do out there. We're watching Seamus Power. He's still trying to limp home. He's had 20 minutes on a car with the wing pushed in, and he's trying the best he can, and he's relying, he's almost just hit the back of Lesniak there. He's trying to get the power down to get to speed, unable to. AJ Roper continues on. He tried to make a move on Henning Sweep. He gets it. Toga Hisada is looking as well. I wonder if Henning's got a little bit of damage on the side of that car. It doesn't look clean. He is trying to fight this. He's going to look for a late move. Late move. Had he outbroke himself? I don't think he had. That's a brilliant move for Henning, and he's trying to stop AJ make the move. That was a send, but he made it commit.
Absolutely, and Henning actually forced AJ almost to the outside of the track as they were going down the back straight, the Parabolica. And believe it or not, Roper was able to make it past, as we saw on the apex of the hairpin. Look at this! Oh boy, Roper didn't take too kindly to being forced wide, and he gives a little bit of a bump and run to Schwebig.
But at the same time, with that corner being a little bit cambered, yeah, there's Theo just getting hit out there. With that corner being a little bit cambered there, Adam, the moment Henning went a bit too off the corner, he was already off and he was already going to be losing speed. I can't understand what AJ was doing there. It wasn't malicious per se, but he had the speed due to the camber.
Oh, absolutely. And with how hard Schwebig was racing him, I don't blame Roper for not backing off and just staying in it and seeing what happened. As we take a look at Joram Van Hicks, who's trying to hold off Noah Lundberg for second position. It's 10 seconds up the road to Valenteus in the lead of this race. In fact, the gap at the lead of both classes is 10 seconds. And here is Lundberg, who's going to try and make the move to the inside, late on the brakes, because Van Hicks can't turn in because of Schwebig, who is trying to dive it deep there. They're going to try and go around the lapped Danielenko, and they make it past him, but Van Hicks returns to position.
Yeah, returns to position. He gets it done. I think that lap car might have helped out Johan there, and he was able to just hold that position. He continues on. I'm looking at the timing tower here, and it's interesting. You've got AJ Roper +9, Mascara +9. You look down the rest of the field, Diaz +9. A lot of the drivers, in fact, Toga Husada 7th. He's -1. Remember what happened to Toga Husada, Adam. He's -1 for the day. These drivers, Van Hicks is +3. He's one of the biggest movers in the GTO field. That says a lot.
Absolutely. Toga Husada was down in 17th position after his contact with Le Barreau, and so he's now recovered all the way back to 7th position. So looks like Mateo Johnson has taken a tow, unfortunately for him. That was from about the 16th position himself, so he's now headed back. And it looks like Noah Lundberg has lost some time to Van Hicks, so unfortunately for him, now back 2.5 seconds. So some of these gaps starting to spread out, but Togo still on a charge, wants that top 5. 10 minutes to go.
I tell you what, Noel actually didn't lose time by his own attrition. He got overtaken from Mascara at the Sud curve at the end of the lap, and there was the GTP. Gabby Martinez tried to make the move and just tapped him on the rear, and he had to go for a little bit of a spin, and that's what happened there, a little bit of a mistake, and Lundberg loses time to Van Hicks. He might be able to get it back, we don't know. Lesniak is still battling up there. He's having a great battle with Trengarade. Really interesting to see how these two go. You've got the classic Quattro livery trying to battle on with this Blabplunk. It's a radio company type livery, but still, Trengarade just showing his pedigree. I'm not sure Lesniak is going to get a move here.
I think this is the Audi Quattro Showcase livery, the one from modern day. It appears on Lesniak's car, and this is the most airtime Lesniak has gotten in quite a while. He's been racing for a long time in this series, but has never been a part of as many battles as we've seen today from him. The fact that he's still racing out there without a lot of contact is impressive. A little bit of front nose damage. Looks like there's a front nose just hanging out on the outside of Mercedes there, so hopefully no one makes contact with that. You can see Josh Brain almost taking it over the sausage curb there on the exit of the corner in the background.
No, I'll tell you who the nose is. It's Andreas Schuster's nose. Out of nowhere, breaking for Mercedes. It just says bye-bye. And
here's Togo. Togo around the outside, which is going to become the inside for the hairpin. Roper is not going to challenge it this time. He's going to try and break for the over-under, but Togo breaks early and makes sure to cover that off. So Togo Husada up to 6th.
Togo Husada is now net 0. He has got back to where he started this race. He's 32 seconds behind Cao Young. He's only a bit of time away from the podium. I don't think he'll get the podium, like I said. But a top 5 for him would be a fantastic comeback here. Mickey Friesen needs a fantastic comeback as he's battling Doug Cloud. We know how wide Doug can make this car, but this is Germany, Doug. There are a little bit wider tracks and roads compared to the American interstates here. It's going to be tough.
Yeah, Friesen and Doug have already had a conversation on the radio, possibly due to just a little bit of contact earlier this lap. So Doug and Friesen... Man, I mean, Friesen just got caught out a little bit with that battle that he was having earlier on, and now up back into the top 5. But it's going to be a challenge for him to recover, and he's got one more position to make it up to where he started, and that's going to be what he would consider his minimum. But he's got the best defender in the business, Doug Cloud, up ahead of him.
Yeah, we all know the pedigree of Doug's defense, and that's a slow run out of Mobile 1. But again, nowhere for Friesen to go. If he realized that he was going slow, he could have put a bit more speed and gone around earlier. Probably could have made a move here into Sachs, but he was unable to. Now he's got to do it again. Oh, he was lucky not to get a slowdown there with Mickey. It's very tough to make a move there. 7 minutes to go. They do have about 5 laps, maybe 6 laps to go. when they come on by. Still a lot of time, but these cheese wedges are not showing what they can out here today. The slipstream is really limited out there.
Absolutely. The gap between Cal Young and Dustin Rhodes are down now to 6.5 seconds, so a lot of time lost for Cal, but he's got a lot of time to play with, so he doesn't have to be concerned as of yet. Valenteus continues to increase the gap to Van Hicks, now to 11 seconds after we checked in about 3 minutes ago, so not that much time gained over time, but still gaining time on second position. Here comes Friesen, though, as Doug, slow on the straight. Friesen is going to try it around the outside of the hairpin, very late on the brakes, both of them locking up the right front tire. Very easy to do in this machine, but Doug able to get it rotated and still retains the position.
You know, I wonder if that was Doug doing that on purpose. I mean, it probably was the slow, because you can force an over-under at the hairpin. But in these cars, again, it's tough. We talk about the all-wheel drive. It is tough to make that sort of move. And I wonder if that was him trying to play some games there just to see what Mickey would have done. And Mickey just could not do it. Real actually good heads-up play there from Doug. It's not something that a lot of drivers do, but it just compromised that entry just to show it a little bit of a wiggle. And Mickey can't do anything about it, though.
No, this is, you can't, unless you're very much up the inside of that banked corner. There's no way that you can make a pass there. You have to have established that fairly early on. Doug Cloud doing a good jumping defense. Oh, Friesen skipped over the sausage curb, and that's going to lose him a little bit of grip. Taking a look on the picture-in-picture at Gabriel Martinez caught up behind Javier Mascara. Going to try and make a pass on Mascara fairly soon. Both Friesen and Doug with good exits off of turn 1. And look at this, Mickey Friesen taking a look to the inside of 2, trying to make Doug Cloud late break into there. Almost accomplishes it, but Doug gets it rotated and off onto the parabolica again.
Yeah, Mickey's thinking here for the moment. You know, you're not the only one that can do a little bit of gamesmanship, but he's got the bit of a run now. This could be interesting. What does Doug do? In fact, Mickey goes over right away. There's nothing Doug can do. He'll try and squeeze him so he doesn't have much room. Hirota's behind. He won't do much. First to turn in is Doug, and that's good play. That is a little bit of anything you can do, I can do just as good as you, Doug. Mickey Friesen gets that done. Real good move, but they do have an overlap here. Is Doug able to do anything? No, and Mickey will cut off any short of a lunge in to turn 8. You're looking at Andreas Schuster as they come through the hairpin, and it is all carnage up there.
Absolutely. Schuster and Trangrade got absolutely sent. Or Schuster and Olesnik got absolutely sent by the GTPs coming through there. Got dive bombed, got contact, and sent out wide. It's frustrating for those two drivers.
Frustrating for Trangrade as well, as he was up there battling Schuster. He's still in this pack with them. Roman Bellows now caught up, so it's a 4-car battle for P6. But just the way, it's just not the way they would have liked it to happen. Regardless, they are still driving. By the way, we haven't talked about Valenteus for 2 minutes. Just at the fastest lap by a second over everyone else. He's now 13 seconds ahead of everyone.
And huge credit to iRacing and their new damage model. In years past, if you would have seen a GTO with its hood gone, that GTO was retiring. But Schuster, the hood bonnet, and apparently the mounting points were damaged from some of that front end contact, but he's still out there racing in 6th position, no less, with no front end on that machine. So it's just impressive to see the damage model in play. We know he's got a lot of aero damage, but that GTO is still powering.
I mean, fair play as well to iRacing for updating the damage model, because in old times, that bonnet would have actually just flapped up straight in his face. He wouldn't be able to see. So they've also just looked at that as well and looked at the points where they could make a little bit of compromise. I don't think Lesniak can make the move onto it, and that's a late move from Barra Ruiz. But at the same time, Trengaray gets it done. He gets into P7. He might be able to battle Schuster here. You've just seen that replay earlier of what happened. I think Lesniak's got some issues out there. He's going slow all of a sudden.
Ruiz had to make that move because a charging Toko Hisada was up and behind him, and so he actually got himself about 5/10 off of that. Lesniak takes it very deep into the corner, and here comes Romain Bello to try and challenge him, and they've got the GTP of Anti-Lepisto many laps down, trying to sneak his way through.
Yeah, something's not right with Lesniak. I wonder if he's had the fuel save for a moment, because all of a sudden he just doesn't have that pace all of a sudden. and now you just start to see it. He is on the defense in these slower areas, but on those straights, he just didn't have the throttle there. Didn't have the speed, so something's up there. We'll have to look at that when they come down the Parabolica next time by, but I think he's got one lap less. Ahead, though, Seamus Power still battling on. He's trying to get Gabby Martinez. Gabby, I believe, has a black flag to serve.
Gabby Martinez does have a black flag to serve, and so he's going to go serve it now. That frees up Seamus Power, so there goes Gabby into the pit lane. This is what I talked about at the beginning of the race, where you can get a lot of incidents here, and it's a surprise, to be honest with you. As a driver, it's a surprise when it happens to you, but you get a lot of incident points here with the amount of multi-class, the amount of off-tracks you can take around this circuit.
Do you know, I'm looking, though, it's not a black and white flag, it's a straight black flag, which says to me he picked up a slowdown and did not serve it. That's what it says to me, and in fact, he's already out, so I might be right, I might be wrong, but to me, that is a slowdown black flag more than anything. Regardless, we look on Roman Bello, continues to look for fights. He looks to try and get past Lesniak, and he has, and now he's going to be careful behind them. Josh Brain, Javier Del Olmo, they're having a little scrap, and it looks like Del Olmo get past Josh Brain once again.
And while we were watching that, Togo Hisada made his way past Hamilton Barrera Ruiz up into the top 5. And look at this, Seamus Power and Davide Riccardi are battling it out for this position as well. So, my goodness, oh, that was close. A little bit of a pinch off from Seamus Power there to ensure that he retained that position. Lots of good battles going on track right now.
You know what? Seamus is limping this wounded warrior around. He knows what he has to do, and everything in the stadium sections he is doing just to cut off the damage when it comes to the straight. Very hopeful, but he does have one more lap. You see it. It is white flag. Carl Young is halfway through the final lap. Finally, he'll be able to breathe a sigh of relief. Not sure what else there is to go. Ian Haycox as well. He now has a black flag. In fact, that's a mechanical black flag. He's got loads of damage.
I don't believe it's actually the white flag lap for Cal Young. He's coming to it this time around, I believe. As Togo Sada and Hamilton Barrera Ruiz almost make contact again for 5th position. And Jack Webb goes past Farron Grau. Farron's slow on the track.
Do you think Farron's also is out of fuel as well? I think Farron's out of fuel. I think people are on a fuel run at the moment. There's cars also going off. Not sure what's happening. I believe this is the white flag, though. It's done. It's done. Carl Young, that was definitely white flag. He takes the victory. Dustin Hirota's going to come across with a P2. And I'm looking at the stats here, Adam. That is Carl Young's first broadcast victory.
Absolutely a fantastic victory for Cal. 14 seconds ahead, and here's Valenteus taking his seconds and absolutely playing with them as he crosses the line and wins his 4th straight race of this season. And I believe it's going to be, I'd have to take a look at how many straight he's won. The last time he did not finish in the lead he did not win a race was when he DNF'd midway of last season.
And that was Red Bull Ring. Lesniak is still battling out there. Can he get one more move on Roman Bello? He's going to try and find it. He is looking. It's going to be tough, though, with Sudkov, the final corner. I don't think he's got it, and that's going to be a really good defense from Roman Bello. He's going to get that P8. Lesniak will have to just stick to that P9. He did make up 2 positions, though. Josh Brain has to hold off, though, and Javier Del Olmo will get that P10.
There's Thorben Pollock after a storied race for him, involved in a lot of incidences with other vehicles, coming home in 14th position. Timothy Reed going to cross the line in 15th. My goodness, Craig, what a race we had today. It had everything. It had chaos, it had battles, it had multi-class. I mean, it's just quite an understatement to say this was a storied race.
It was a race that was a race of attrition as well, and when you put 50 cars out here, it's always going to be chaotic. The fact that the biggest story was due to a crash with an engine crash more than a car crash says it all, as you'll see with the results of the GTPs.
Yeah, Cal Young taking his first broadcast victory up ahead of Dustin Herder by 14 seconds. Cal Young had the tail of the tape today. Jack Wells, another 5 seconds behind with Farron Grau, 20 seconds back in the lead. Toga Asada gets a top 5, a good recovery considering the fact that he was in 17th at one point during the race. Hamilton Barrera Ruiz in 6th position with AJ Roper down in 7th. Henning Schwebig comes home in 8th position, which is actually good considering how many contacts he had with other vehicles today. Javier Mascara in 9th, and Seamus Power rounds out the top 10. Davide Ricciardi is going to come home in 11th. Logan Edwards in 12th position. Diego Mistretta in 13th. Guillermo Martin Gonzalez Diaz finishes in 14th position with Gabri Martinez, the last driver to finish on the lead lap. Ilka Codesalo finishes in 18th with Andre Felipe Diaz finishing in 17th position. Sorry, that was 16th and 17th. And then, as we can see, rounding out the rest of the field, just a really challenging race for all of those drivers. Craig, what about the GTOs today?
Well, GTOs, there wasn't that many retirees compared to the GTPs, but it's the Valenteas who finishes. Technically, it is 10 seconds ahead of Van Hicks there, who does finish in second with Noah Lundberg in third, and Mickey Friesen will take that fourth place. Doug Cloud will go up +2 to fifth. Andreas Schuster will be sixth. Denove Trengerade will be seventh. Roman Bello up 4 to 8th. Christopher Lesniak up 2 to 9th. And Javier Del Olmo will be 10th. In 11th, it is going to be Josh Brain with Fabian Jumlov in 12th. And then Martin Krejcik will be 13th. With Thorben Pollock being the big gainer today, up 5 to 14th. And Timothy Reed, 15th position. Ian Haycock finishes a lap behind Valenteas in 16th. Mickey Tupler but joins him in 17th. Mortez von Zweitz will be 18th with Oles Delenko in 19th. And then Romain Burtix will be 20th. And then the last four drivers, they were the retirees. It was Martin Enrique Rivert, Theo Chalet, Brandon White, and Danilo Cicciari in that order.
Craig, we do have Jack Wells, who's here to talk to us from the GTP class. And Jack, what a race it was out there today. Third position, you come home in after just, it looked like Farron Grau ran out of fuel. How close were you on fuel at the end of the race?
Yeah, I took a bit out at the start of the race. I usually lift to upshift, so I was good on fuel. I don't know what happened with him. Yeah, I'm not too sure because I know some people in the races in the week had a fuel issue, so it could be that.
52 drivers on track today and 29 laps of racing. There wasn't a lot of time to breathe around there. How was the traffic for you today, especially when you were trying to battle it with other drivers?
Yeah, it seemed to be in bunches. There was a few groups of like Audis to lap every time we came through, so it was crazy for us for a bit, and then it was kind of a sprint race until we got to the next pack or until we cycled round to the field again. So it was definitely interesting. There were some times when we were doing 3 or 4 laps in a row that were 5 seconds or so off the pace of what we could do. So it's tough to like be that patient for so long, I think.
Well, a third place finish for you today. I mean, like, it's you can't be disappointed with that after all of the chaos that we saw. And how was it out there racing with the class of the fields that we had today and the battles that you were having on track? What do you think of the series so far this season and the kind of drivers we've been able to pull in?
Yeah, I think there's definitely been a bit of a increase in participation by some like really high level guys. Obviously, guys who are coming back who have driven so many races here in the past, and some new faces. So yeah, it's really hard. You have to be on it the whole race. You can't be expecting any free positions or such really. You have to give it your all to get a good finish. So really happy with the podium today.
Next week is a 70-minute race at Mosport. I don't think we've had a 70-minute race in quite a long time. What are your thoughts heading into that round? It sounds like it's going to be interesting regarding strategy.
Yeah, I always love a strategy race, and a more of an endurance style to it, especially as a 70-minute more than a 60, like you say. So, yeah, it'll be interesting. It's one of my favourite tracks too, and I know that there are lots of guys in the series who have been waiting for this for a while. So, hopefully, it lives up to the billing, and it's a good show for everyone.
Well, a third place finish for Jack Wells. Anyone you want to thank before we let you go today?
Just my team, Beast Racing, and then all the guys from the IMSA Vintage Camel GT community for being being so like friendly and helpful towards the racing and everything.
That was Jack Wells, who finished in P3 today. Jax, thanks for talking to us. We'll see you next week. And that is going to close out our broadcast today. Before we go, I want to initiate a little bit of an open challenge here on behalf of Andres Valenteus. If you think that you have what it takes to put Valenteus down a peg in the GTOs, come out next week and let's see whether or not you can make it work at Mosport for 70 minutes. I'll be interested to see if that happens. But in the meantime, we want to thank the IMSA Vintage community for bringing us on for another season. And thanks today to the team, Craig, Christian, and Dougie. Make sure to check out our social media website and merchandise store. Don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel as well, so you don't miss out on a moment here on GSRC. As mentioned, next race is Mosport for 70 minutes. That's January 18th at 12 p.m. Eastern Time. But next up here on GSRC is Grand Prix Legends at Phillip Island. That's tomorrow at 11:30 Eastern. And also don't miss any of the other upcoming races that are here on your screen. We hope you've enjoyed joining us today as much as we've enjoyed bringing this racing to you, and we hope to see you back again soon. But until next time, race clean, race hard, and we'll see you on the track.